Hello guys, we are going to be talking about variables in C++. So a variable is just like a container that stores values. And in C++, there are different types of variables, but we are going to be looking at five main variables in C++, which is the int, the float, the string, the char, and the Boolean. The int is used for storing numeric values without decimal points. The float is used for storing numeric values with decimal points. The string stores text. It takes text and is surrounded by double quotes. The char takes a character and is surrounded by single quotes. The boolean stores the state of a value, whether true or false. So let's go straight into our code. Today we are going to learn how to declare a variable and how to assign a value to that variable. The variable stores the value. So to declare a variable, you have to state the data type. After stating the data type, then you give a name to the variable and you terminate it. That's how to declare a variable. So let's say int age, int age, and that's it. We are done declaring a variable. So the int is the data type and the age is the name of the variable. What is happening is that you realize that I'm using age. I could have decided to use maybe int a or something, but I know that I'm going to pass an age into that particular variable. So I'm naming it age to make it easier for me to remember. So we call them identifiers. So I can say int age 1, comma, age 2. In declaration, you can decide to declare multiple variables on the same line. It's allowed in C++. And you can assign them their values later on in the code. So for example, I've declared int age 1 and I've declared int age 2. So I'm going to assign them variables. So if you want to assign them variables, you say age 1. And let's say age 1 is, let's say 15, and we terminate. Then go to the next line, we say age 2 is, let's say 20, and we terminate. So over here we have declared age 1 and we've declared age 2 and we've given them values on a different line. What we just did right now is called assignment of a variable. We are assigning. We declared on the first line and we assigned on the next line. It is also possible to declare on the same line and assign on the same line. For example, let's say you want to give a height, store the height of somebody. So remember, height can be in decimal. So instead of using int over here, it will be preferable to use a float because it stores decimal values. So we can say float height. The height here is an identifier. An identifier to make it easier for you to remember what you are storing. So float height, we can say float height is equal to 6.17 and we terminate. So here we see we are declaring on the same line, we are assigning on the same line. So we can declare and assign on the same line. So now when you are giving variable names, a variable name must begin with a letter or a number. And there are some reserved variable names that you cannot use, like the int. You can't say int. It's not allowed in C++. So those are some of the laws you should know. But you can use an underscore to separate. For example, this age 1 over here. To make it more clear, you can just use an underscore. When you are giving a variable name, you must not leave any white space. So instead of leaving a white space, you put an underscore. Okay. Now we've declared our age, we've declared a height. So let's try to do some addition of variables or calculations with variables. So we can come to the next line. We want to add age 1 and age 2. So we can say result, or we can say age, we can say int age underscore result is equal to age 1 plus age 2, and we terminate this. So we are saying int, that's we are declaring another variable, and we are saying int, the name of that variable is age result, and we are saying that age result is age 1 and age 2 added. So int age result is holding the result of 15 plus 20. And when we go to the next line, we can decide to output it to see if C++ can actually do mathematical calculations. So we say C out age result. Age result. End the line. So let's run this and see if C++ can run mathematical calculations. So we see it gave us the answer 35. So 20 plus 15 is actually 35. So C++ does mathematical calculations. We are going to move on and try something else to merge numbers two together. So what we are going to do is we are going to create a string variable that will hold a name. So let's clean all this age result. Let's clean everything here. And let's create a string. Name the string name. So let's say string name. String name equal to string as handled by double quotes. So don't forget to bring a double quotes. And let's put the name there. I'll use my name in this instance. And we terminate. Always remember to terminate. When you don't terminate, the code will give you an error. So we want to say, okay, my name is Elom and I am, let's say, 15 years old, or let's say 20 years old. Okay, so we are going to output it actually. And you realize that means I'm going to type certain things and I'm going to call certain things I have saved in this code. So let's try it out. So my name is, and I leave a space. Then I use the cout symbol or the two less than symbols. And then after I bring that less than symbols, I'll bring, instead of writing elom, I just need to call that variable. And that variable is identified by name. So we say name, and we bring those two less than symbols again. And bring a double quotes again and say full stop space, and now we can say I same thing h2. I'm going to use h2 here. We end the line like this. So let's take a look and let's break down this code carefully. We have my name is name. I am age 2 years old. Name holds Elom and age 2 holds 20. So we say my name is Elom. I am 20 years old. This is very, very simple. The more you practice, the more you get used to it. So let's run it and see the output. So we have my name is Elom, full stop. I am 20 years old. And so before we go, I want us to learn one last thing, and that is constants. You cannot change the value of a constant. There are certain things in life that do not change. For example, the value of pi is 3.14 and doesn't change. So you can say constant pi is equal to, so 3.14 is a decimal. So in this case, we need to say constant float. constant float pi is equal to 3.14, and we terminate. 3.14, we terminate. And this value cannot change. You cannot change the value of this variable. So for example, I declared h2 to be 20 years. If I come back and say h2, no, maybe now I don't want h2 to be 20, I want it to be 30. h2 is equal to 30. And I just copy the code that I just outputted, copy it and paste it under the h2. And reprint this same comment, you realize that the first statement will say 20 years and the next statement will actually say 30 years, meaning that for the int or for any other variable that doesn't have a constant attached to it, it can be changed. But with the constant attached to it, you cannot change the value of the variable. So we see the first statement says I am 20 years old, the second one says I am 30 years old, meaning that you can change it if it's not a constant. But once it's a constant, it remains the value you have assigned to it initially throughout the code. Thank you. If this video was useful, if this video was informative, kindly like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you, and see you in the next tutorials.